Welcome to Bite at a Time Books, where we read you your favorite classics one bite at a time. My name is Bree Carlile, and I love to read and wanted to share my passion with listeners like you. You can sign up for our newsletter at biteatatimebooks.com. You'll also find our new t-shirts in the shop, including podcast shirts and quote shirts from your favorite classic novels. Be sure to follow my show on your favorite podcast platform so you get all the new episodes. We're part of the Bite at a Time Books Productions Network. If you'd also like to hear what inspired your favorite classic author to write their novels, and what was going on in the world at the time, check out the Bite at a Time Books Behind the Story podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Today we'll be continuing Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. Chapter 4. The child is amazed at the old man. In the meantime, in the Marche Saint-Jean, where the post had already been disarmed, Gavroche had just effected a junction with a band led by Enjolras, Courfeyrac, Combeferre, and Feuilly. They were armed after a fashion. Bahorel and Jean Prouvaire had found them and swelled the group. Enjolras had a double-barreled hunting gun, Combeferre the gun of a National Guard bearing the number of his legion, and in his belt 2 pistols which his unbuttoned coat allowed to be seen. Jean Prouvaire, an old cavalry musket. Bahorel, a rifle. Courfeyrac was brandishing an unsheathed sword cane. Feuilly, with a naked sword in his hand, marched at their head, shouting, "Long live Poland!" They reached the Quai Morland. Cravateless, hatless, breathless, soaked by the rain, with lightning in their eyes. Gavroche accosted them calmly. "Where are we going?" "Come along," said Courfeyrac. Behind Feuilly marched, or rather bounded, Bahorel, who was like a fish in water in a riot. He wore a scarlet waistcoat and indulged in the sort of words which break everything. His waistcoat astounded a passer-by who cried in bewilderment, "Here are the Reds." "The Reds, the Reds," retorted Bahorel. "A queer kind of fear, bourgeois. For my part, I don't tremble before a poppy. The little red hat inspires me with no alarm. Take my advice, bourgeois. Let's leave fear of the red to horned cattle." He caught sight of a corner of the wall, on which was placarded the most peaceable sheet of paper in the world, a permission to eat eggs, a Lenten admonition addressed by the Archbishop of Paris to his flock. Bahorel exclaimed, "Flock? A polite way of saying geese," and he tore the charge from the nail. This conquered Gavroche. From that instant, Gavroche set himself to study Bahorel. "Bahorel," observed Enjolras, "you are wrong. You should have let that charge alone. He is not the person with whom we have to deal. You are wasting your wrath to no purpose. Take care of your supply. One does not fire out of the ranks with the soul any more than with a gun." "Each one in his own fashion, Enjolras," retorted Bahorel. "This bishop's prose shocks me. I want to eat eggs without being permitted. Your style is the hot and cold. I am amusing myself. Besides, I'm not wasting myself. I'm getting a start. And if I tore down that charge, Hercule, 'twas only to whet my appetite." This word, Hercule, struck Gavroche. He sought all occasions for learning, and that tear down of posters possessed his esteem. He inquired of him, "What does Hercule mean?" Bahorel answered, "It means cursed name of a dog in Latin." Here, Bahorel recognized at a window a pale young man with a black beard who was watching them as they passed, probably a friend of the ABC. He shouted to him, "Quick, cartridges, parabellum." "A fine man, that's true," said Gavroche, who now understood Latin. A tumultuous retinue accompanied them. Students, artists, young men affiliated to the Coburg of A, artisans, longshoremen armed with clubs and bayonets. Some, like Combeferre, with pistols thrust into their trousers. An old man, who appeared to be extremely aged, was walking in the band. He had no arms, and he made great haste, so that he might not be left behind, although he had a thoughtful air. Gavroche caught sight of him. "Qu'est-ce que c'est?" said he to Courfeyrac. "He's an old duffer." It was Monsieur Mabeuf. Thank you for joining Bite at a Time Books today, while we read a bite of one of your favorite classics. Again, my name is Bree Carlile, And I hope you come back tomorrow for the next bite of Les Miserables. Don't forget, you can sign up for our newsletter at biteatatimebooks.com. And while you're there, check out our t-shirt shop. You can look in the show notes or on our website, biteatatimebooks.com, for the rest of the links for our show. We'd love to hear from you on social media. You can find us everywhere at Bite at a Time Books.